Welcome to Gluten Free Delights, where we make living gluten-free both delicious and easy. I'm so glad you're here. Today, we're diving into a recipe that has become a favorite at my family gatherings. This dish combines the earthy sweetness of roasted squash with the creamy tang of goat cheese, all topped with fresh herbs and a drizzle of maple syrup. It all started one afternoon when I needed a quickish side dish that was festive, flavorful, and naturally gluten-free. After a quick raid of my pantry, my fresh herb window box, and grabbing from the hodgepodge of seasonal squash on hand, this roasted herbed squash with goat cheese was born. It's now a staple on any holiday table we're at, and I'm thrilled to share it with you. If you love gluten-free recipes like this, be sure to hit the like button, follow us, and stay tuned for more gluten-free cooking inspiration. Now, let's get started. The recipe is now up on the screen. First, preheat the oven to 425 degrees Fahrenheit. While that heats, we prep the stars of the dish. The squash. You'll need 2 medium acorn squash and a large butternut squash. After peeling them and scooping out the seeds, cut them into uniform 2-inch cubes. It's a bit of work, but these hearty chunks are going to roast to perfection. Once that's done, toss the cubes into a large bowl. Next, finely mince fresh thyme and rosemary until you have 2 tablespoons of each. If you want to use dried herbs, reduce to 1 tablespoon of each and either finely mince or lightly crush for better seasoning distribution. Now it's time to season. Drizzle the squash with 3 tablespoons of olive oil and toss, making sure each piece gets a light, even coating. Now sprinkle in 2 tablespoons of finely minced fresh thyme and another 2 tablespoons of finely minced fresh rosemary. Add a generous tablespoon of kosher salt and a teaspoon of coarsely ground black pepper. Toss everything together until the squash is evenly coated with those fragrant herbs and spices. Spread the seasoned squash out on 2 foil-lined baking pans, making sure not to overcrowd them. This ensures each piece roasts evenly and caramelizes beautifully. Slide the pans into a preheated 425 degree Fahrenheit oven and let the squash roast for 30 to 35 minutes. About halfway through, give the pieces a stir and switch the position of the pans in the oven so everything cooks evenly. For an extra touch of golden, caramelized flavor, you can broil the squash for a couple of minutes at the end. When the squash is tender and some pieces are perfectly browned, it's ready to come out of the oven. Let it cool slightly as you finely chop 2 tablespoons of fresh parsley and, if not already crumbled, break up the 11 ounces of goat cheese. I would not substitute dried parsley as fresh parsley adds a pop of herbaceous freshness that balances the earthiness of the roasted squash, creamy sharpness from the goat cheese, and the pop of bright green against the dark orange and white makes the dish extra visually appetizing. To assemble, gently toss the slightly cooled roasted squash with the crumbled fresh goat cheese. The residual warmth of the squash will soften the cheese just enough to create a luscious, creamy texture. Sprinkle the top of the dish with the chopped parsley for a pop of color and brightness. Finally, drizzle 1 tablespoon of warmed maple syrup over the top. Warmed maple syrup becomes thin and runny, allowing for the best overall coverage. This little hint of sweetness evenly distributed over the dish ties everything together. And there you have it, a gorgeous, colorful dish that's sure to impress. The combination of caramelized squash, creamy goat cheese, fragrant herbs, and that kiss of maple syrup is absolutely irresistible. Whether you're serving it as a weeknight side dish or the star of a potluck, this recipe is bound to be a hit. Thank you for joining me today on Gluten Free Delights. I hope this recipe becomes a hit in your home, just like it has in mine. Whether you're looking for comforting meals, festive treats, or quick weeknight ideas, we've got you covered. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share so we can keep making delicious gluten-free recipes. See you next time!